Good evening, everybody at NCU. I'm Dr. Serena Travis, and tonight we are going to cover BUS 240 Marketing Principles. So the textbook for this class is in your syllabus. I hope you got your syllabus. I got it too. So the syllabus has said that it is the one-page marketing plan. Boy, I don't know if you can see this. Boy, that looks terrible. Merciful heavens. What's going on? Anyway, it's the one-page marketing plan by Alan Dibb. So that is what the text is for tonight. So what I need for you to grab while you're watching this video, this live stream, or you may be watching it later, which is totally fine. What you will need is a sheet of paper. So a sheet of paper, because it's the one-page marketing plan, we're going to fill out that page together, and this is going to give you an overview of the things that you need to focus on when you're developing a marketing plan. So what is marketing anyway? Is it just putting an ad out there? Is it just figuring out who your target market is? Well, marketing is so much more than just placing an ad in the newspaper. Marketing is the entire overview. I just love how my hands are just blipping out as I'm doing this. Marketing is the entire overview of your relationship with your audience, with your customer base, with your potential customer base. It's not just one isolated event. It's not one isolated task. This is an all-encompassing system or set of systems that you are putting into place so that you can take care of those who are taking care of you, okay? You have to foster this relationship to be able to take care of if you want to take care of yourself, you're going to have to take care of somebody else at some point in time. So that's what this is all about. Marketing is about developing that relationship. So hopefully you've gotten that piece of paper. So what you're going to do, so you'll see I have folded my paper. I feel like elementary school. Come on, class, we're going to fold the paper. Anyway, so you're going to fold this piece of paper into 9, just fold it in thirds like so, right? And then you'll fold it in thirds like this. Okay? Okay, so here we are. And this is where we're going to work off of, okay? So, as if you're going to talk back to me here. And then by the end, I'll show you what we're going to be working towards. By the end, it's going to be something along these lines. Hey, Dr. Angel, is this coming out right way or up backwards? I'm just curious. Is this coming out right way or is it backwards? I don't know, because I see it the right way, but I don't know what you're seeing for sure. So you have to just rely on that I'm telling you what's really going on here. So how do you develop the, okay, great. Thanks guys for that feedback. Awesome. Thank you. Hey guys, you can just, I love this feedback. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to get out what I decided to do, because I was messing around with hoping to be able to utilize a PowerPoint and fancy graphics and all kinds of fun stuff, but maybe I will be able to do that for next time. We'll see. So meanwhile, let's get started. So you have this empty kind of sheet, and the top is going to cover everything. This is like a the 3 acts of marketing. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 is before, and this is the during, and this is the after. So what I'm going to do is just mark up this paper with just those words, before, during, and after. And we're going to cover all of these. And there's some fun stories in here. Oh my goodness. So I'm writing down before, during, and after. So I've got that written on my paper. Okay? Before, during, and after. Okay. And as we go, maybe this is better. Here we go. So in the top left corner, we're talking about the before. And if you can imagine if this were a temperature gauge, we're starting out, when they talk about cold calling, this is where it's cold, and progressively it's going to increase in temperature, your relationship between you and your customers, till you get to the bottom when it's red hot, baby. We're talking you have a really close connection with your customer base. So I'm just going to write cold up in this top corner, and by the time we get to this bottom corner over here, we've got some red hot contacts. So cold all the way down to hot. These are extra things that are not in the book. So if you can see that, we got cold, the top corner, other side, Serena, and then down here to hot. And that's the way this is going to develop over time. Hey, Malcolm. Welcome to the class. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is, who are these people? Who is this market that we're trying to reach? And we have a different term for these people in the different steps that we're talking about. So during the before period, this top line that we're working on, people are called prospects. So go ahead and write that down on the paper, prospects. So we're talking about our prospects now. Well, I kind of ran into cold, but you can see what we're talking about. We've got these prospects. While you're working on those prospects, you're going to identify your target market. And this is what goes into the first column, first row, this upper left corner. So people commonly think, you know what? I'm going to reach everyone, right? Because everybody is going to love what I have to offer. Well, I think when you get to a certain point and you realize that you just can't please everybody, and you probably aren't going to necessarily help everybody. So you're just going to say, everyone? No. You need to be more specific, okay? We're not going to be able to help absolutely everyone. You're going to develop a niche. So we're talking about a niche. So let's talk about a photographer. So a photographer decides that they want to go into photography, and they start building out their website because they want to let everybody know about them. And that's what this whole thing is in this top row. It's when somebody's a prospect, you are trying to get them to know you, and you have to know them. Okay? We're just building up this knowledge about each other. So the photographer decides, wow, I just really want to do everything. I want to photograph babies. I want to do corporate photography, weddings, families, just businesses. I want to do everything. But the problem is that when somebody goes to your website and they see that you do everything, the confidence level isn't that high. But if you choose a niche, okay, let's say you decide that you want to be a baby photographer. You remember that lady back a ways, her Ann Geddes? I don't know, maybe if somebody remembers her name, they can put her in the chat. But she would take these extraordinary pictures of babies. Like they were vegetables, they were fruit, they were in these buckets. I mean, she took baby photography to the next level. I mean, it was amazing what she did. But you didn't see her taking pictures of weddings, of other types of events. She specialized in a niche with babies. She had calendars. I mean, she did really well with that baby, taking pictures of babies. And so, and as she was developing that niche, you go deep. So that's something that you're going to put up in that top corner. Go deep. When you get really, when you delve into a niche and you go deep, you'll be able to really specialize in that niche and know the needs of that niche. Getting that feedback from your target market. And then, oh, this was really good. You gotta do a PVP assessment. Oh, I gotta get there. I gotta get there so I can say this all right. The PVP. Let me get there. PVP. In the meantime, you can just write down PVP. Wow, I spoke too soon. Having that plan, having that niche, having that target market, it's not a waste of time to give some consideration and start asking for feedback from people that you have been able to help. So we're talking about that ideal market. So what you do is you use the PVP index. I'm going to write this down, PVP, putting that out there, PVP. Oh my goodness, it just brought up something else in my mind. Personal fulfillment is the first P. Personal fulfillment. Personal fulfillment. And then the second is fulfillment. I'm going to spell fulfillment correctly. V is value to the marketplace. Value to the marketplace. Some of you probably just know this off the top of your head. And then the other P is profitability. So if you look in your particular niche, we're looking at that PVP, personal fulfillment, value to the market, profitability. Okay, this is all going in this top corner over here. I'm gonna write all of that in here, okay? This is, you give it each a rating from 1 to 10. And we're talking about the photographer as an example. So let's say you look at weddings and you realize that personal fulfillment is a 5. Like, it's neither here nor there. You don't get that much enjoyment necessarily out of photographing a wedding. The value to the marketplace is a 7, and the profitability is 9. So it's pretty high. So the total score for weddings is 21. And then maybe family portraits is a different set of numbers. Like personal fulfillment is a 9. You really enjoy those family, taking photographs of families. The value to the marketplace is an 8, and the profits are a 9. So now that score is 26, which is higher than that of weddings, which was 21. That is helping you to narrow down into that niche. So that's really important to develop your ideal market. And one of the things to do is to develop an avatar. I'm just writing that down, avatar of that person. So you're writing a description. You're writing a character in a story, but more than this is a very important story. This is the story of your business, so that you're actually writing down everything about that person that you think is relevant and important. And it could be the most simple thing. Like it could be, they hate pepperoni or something. I mean, it could be something very specific. So the more specific you are, the more you're zeroing in on those people that you know that you can help. So anyway, so there you go. There's the identify your target market. Now, the next thing that we want to focus on, and this is all in the before phase with your prospects, is you have to think about the message to your target market. This is going in the second message to your target market. That's going into the second. That's going to the second thing right here during the before phase. Still in the kind of the cold, trying to figure out what you're going to say to your target market. So the first thing you have to really consider is what are you offering? What are you offering that's different from everybody else? You have to have a unique selling proposition. Your USP. What is your USP? Why you? Why you and not the other guy? You need a USP. Why you? You have to be able to answer that, because your customer base isn't going to answer that for you. And then some of the things that you have to think about in your message to your target market is to be clear. If there's all of these things that you do, and you say you do all these things, and there's so many amazing things that you do, then they're kind of confused. So you have to be clear. Being clear is so important. Be clear. The next is to be remarkable. What does it mean to be remarkable? I mean, if it's to be remarkable is that extra little something that somebody looks at you and says, wow, okay, that stands out in my mind as something very unique. The other thing you have to do during your message time when you're developing this message is to develop your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch boils down the elevator pitch. Now, a common mistake that people make in their elevator pitch is trying to talk about how they're so wonderful at it's like really me focused instead of saying something along these lines. Here's the problem. Here's a solution that we offer for that problem. And, hey, this is, is this something that you can identify with, basically? You just can't have a very strong me-focused, or you're just going to lose them. You're just going to lose that person and during that elevator ride. You only got 30 seconds. So basically, yeah. And then also to offer some proof. So, just to say, how, let's say that you're an electrical engineer and you're focusing on doing power backup systems. This is something that you've developed. So you can say, yeah, and there's power outages that could bring down the critical systems in your business. Well, I installed power backup systems for companies so that they can have continuous power in the event of a power failure. In fact, I installed a system at the XYZ Bank, and it resulted in them having 100% uptime and, kept all their customers happy. So it's you have the problem, the solution, the proof. So that is your elevator pitch. And that's something that should just be ready to go. There should be no hesitation. What is that elevator pitch? You have to identify the pain that is in the market. Okay, like this last example. Would it be painful for the bank to lose all their power? Totally. I mean, their servers are down, the customers can't get in and look at their bank, everybody starts to panic. So it's really important to be able to identify the pain and then focus on the pain of your market. So I'm just going to put that focus on the pain. And then you are the solution to that pain. Be the solution. There you go. Focus on the pain. And then when you're thinking about your messaging in general, the worst type of messaging is to just use that same type of lingo that everybody uses. We have the best service. We have the best prices. You really shouldn't say that you have the best prices, because number one, you don't want to be cheap. You don't want your market to think that you're the cheapest price. You want them to know that you are providing value. You are bringing something valuable to them. That's the first thing. The other thing is that you're just going to have something that is going to resonate and isn't just mindless babble, like business babble that's out there, because there's so much of that. And you just can't have that sort of messaging. You have to be unique. You have to be remarkable, in fact. So the best copy, the very best copy, and copy is your motto, your tagline, your script of all of your ads, whatever you do for your podcast, your messaging, your videos, all that stuff comes down, and that's all copy. So great copy always starts with emotion. So I'm just writing down emotion, and then is followed by logic. Okay? If somebody just is so, every purchase, there is some emotion attached to it, fulfilling a need, fulfilling a desire. And some people are thinking about their purchases long in advance, but you really have to consider that emotion and then follow it up with logic. So now our second item is full. So that all goes into this second one here. Moving right along. I wonder if I'm going too fast, but then you can always pause, right? You can always pause, and it doesn't have to. We're booking here. This is quick. So we're finishing out this top row where we are dealing with prospects, people who we are getting to know by identifying who they are, and people who we want to know us, who want to know our products, our services, what we are offering to them. What kind of media are we going to use to reach these people? Media to use to reach your target market. There are all kinds of ways to utilize media. And one of the, bottom line is, and this is what I'm just going to highlight this. I'm going to be really quick on this because it's talking about that budget that you might use to reach these people. And the thing is that if it takes you $1 to reach a target customer, and they come in and they spend $10, okay, that contact cost you $1 and they spent $10 and you made $9. Wouldn't you take another couple dollars and go out and get a couple more potential customers? Of course. So it's like they talk about the unlimited marketing budget. And it just means that if you have found an effective way and you have a good return on investment with your messaging and your advertising, your market plan, then you're not going to run out of money to reach more customers. So that's important. So I'm just going to write that down. Unlimited marketing budget. Because the idea is you're going to test. You're not going to, if you have decided that you're going to actually, if you're testing what you're doing, and you should always test, always measure everything that you're doing in marketing, all your all your ads. There should always be a metric that you can add in there to measure what's going on. And you're always going to drop what's not working and go to the things that are working and continue with those. So unlimited marketing budget. So there's the standard suspects for reaching your target market. There's social media, and there's email. There's, believe it or not, you can still use the post office, the postal system. So here are some of the things. We're talking about unlimited marketing budget, ways to reach social media, email, the post office. Well, I guess, I don't know. I guess is it in the, I don't know what it is in the Bahamas, the Bahamian mail service is, I don't know. Are they on blue boats? I think I heard that at one point in time. So I would just say postal service. So what's interesting is, and one of the things you always want to remember, social media is great, but the problem is that everything that you put on social media belongs to that platform. So you could build up a bunch of people following you. Let's say that you got 1,000 likes on your Facebook business page, but Facebook changes the algorithm, and it's not enough to be that this group likes you on their Facebook, likes your Facebook page. It doesn't show up in their feed. If the algorithm is changed at any point in time, whatever ground you have gained is nullified. However, if people are on your email list, if they're coming onto your email list, you own that list. That list doesn't belong to anybody else. So as much as possible, get people onto your email list. And then finally, on this media to reach the target market, and I guess the idea for this postal service is that you're not, don't discount this fact that postcards, letters are very, there's not as much clutter in the mail as there used to be. There used to be way more junk mail, okay? So you don't have as much competition as you do with these others. Social media, you have constant competition. You're constantly going up against other people. And the email, people's emails are getting full because there's all these offers. You have to sign up for a list in order to get that free book or whatever. Excuse me. And so you're having to get all of the, you're fighting all this competition, and there's not as much competition at with the Postal Service. So that's something to consider in your marketing plan. So, and now we come to the question, one of the questions for this whole section on the top. What is the most dangerous number in business? What is the most dangerous number? Well, the most dangerous number is 1. 1 of anything could potentially pull down or slow down your business. So the most dangerous number is 1. So I'm just going to mark that down. Most dangerous number, 1. I only have one supplier for these widgets that I'm using to put together for something to sell. That's really not a good position to be in. I only have one platform, one social media platform that I use, and I don't use email. Okay, that's not good. You need to, so you can see where this is going. The most dangerous number is 1. And so that completes, this goes in the top right, and that completes the cold section, the before, the prospect session. So now, let's say that you've gone through that whole process, and now you have somebody who's interested. They signed up for your email list. That person's now a lead. So they've changed from being a prospect to a lead. Now these two sections, the prospects and the leads, are called the front end. Front end. Now, meanwhile, we're going over all of these details, but these are the things that you're going to have to think about and implement for your own business, for your own marketing plan. So there's the front end. Those top 2 rows are the front end. Wow, time is clipping along here. Yay. I'm having fun. Okay, here is the lead capture system, and this is going to be going into the next row. I have this completely filled out here. See this lead capture system? We'll be going over that next. Lead capture system. So if you've got these leads, okay, and you have them in the list, you definitely want to have a little bit more information that you have at your fingertips than just an email address, okay? So what you're going to be doing is, or thinking about cold calling, you're constantly out there on the hunt. So lead capture system takes that concept of hunting versus farming, okay? Instead of having to go and look for new people every single day, what you want to do is have a system so that when you have those prospects coming in, that you can cultivate, you can farm those leads. So your CRM, which is your customer relationship management. Okay, I'm going to write that all out. Customer relationship management. This is your system. This is what is your nerve center. It's your gold mine. It's everything that you know about these leads, and you have a really good idea of who they are, what they need. Okay? So this is the nerve center and the gold mine. And I don't want to just look at it as a commodity. I mean, these are people. These are people who you care about. You care about, you want to take care of them because they're going to take care of you. Okay. So what do you do for your lead nurturing system? So that's the middle, the very middle. And you know what I like about that? It's in the middle. It's like the big heart. I don't know. I guess maybe this is a little bit cheesy, right? I got this heart necklace on. So anyway, so it's like this big heart in the center. Let me get a red pen. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Why? Because we care. We're going to nurture. We're going to nurture these relationships. So the lead nurturing system. So let's see here. So we're going to follow up. This is where you're following up. You've learned all about these prospects. You're going to spend the time contacting them. And it's not enough to contact them one more time. Now there's some stats on how people drop out after contacting them the first time. I'm going to jump up to those stats real quick. So let's see here. Here, we're going to get over there real quick. Okay. 50% of salespeople give up after one contact. If you contact somebody a second time, you have eliminated 50% of everybody else who's going after that person the second time. 65% give up after 2, and 79.8% give up after 3 shots, which means if you're making it to the 4th time, you're standing a real good chance. And I'm not talking about being annoying or being a pest, because we definitely don't want to be a pest. We always want to focus on being a guest, a welcome guest, not a pest. Okay, so that's what we want to focus on. So these are some of the things we're going to write down. So we're going to follow up. We're going to be a follow-up farmer. Follow-up farmer. We're going to focus on being a guest, not a pest. Be a guest, not a pest. Okay? Be a follow-up farmer. Be a guest, not a pest. Okay, now I got to read you a story. I'm going to take this time to read you a little story. This is about the secret behind the world's greatest salesman. Joe Girard is listed in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's greatest salesman. He sold more retail's big ticket items one at a time than any other person in recorded history. So, was he selling some amazing new technology that everyone had to have? Nope. Was he selling to the mega rich? Nope. He sold ordinary cars to ordinary people. Between 1963 and 1978, he sold over 13,000 cars at a Chevrolet dealership. He sold cars, and he's the world's greatest salesman. That's great. Not the world's greatest showman, but the world's greatest salesman. Okay, in total, he sold 13,001 cars. That's an average of 6 cars per day. On his best day, he sold 18 vehicles. 18 vehicles. On his best month, he sold 174. In his best year, he sold 1,425. That's amazing. And he sold more cars by himself than 90% of all the dealerships in North America. And to make this even more incredible, he didn't have any bulk fleet deals. This was one by one. This is a really incredible story. I was really moved by this. So what was the secret to his success? Joe worked he worked hard, but what he worked at hardest was to be likable. So how did he become likable? He would constantly keep in touch with his customers. He would send a personalized greeting card every month to his entire list of customers. Every month. And inside the card, he would say 3 simple words. I like you. Wow. It's just so simple. I like you. And so he would do that each month. And every month the cards were different. They were different sizes. They were hand addressed. And people were looking forward to getting the cards from Joe. They loved to hear from Joe. And they just felt really good when they opened up a card from him. And he did this month after month. By the end of his career, he was sending out 13,000 cards per month. So by the end, he was a decade into his career. Almost 2/3 of his sales were from repeat customers. These were customers who set time in advance to schedule a time to buy a car from Joe. In fact, they would not want to talk with anybody else. They loved Joe so much that they had to buy the car from him. And can you imagine that compared to the guy who's just sitting there hoping to be able to sell a car to somebody? Joe became likable because how do you make friends? Be friendly. It's a Bible verse. It's something that we know that to do. So Joe Girard, just remember the story of Joe Girard. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't demanding. He wasn't sneaky or whatever. He liked people. I like you. So then a few other things that we just need to be thinking about is you just have to, in your marketing plan, these points of contact, going and connecting with people again and again and again, and not not being needy, not saying, hey, I haven't heard from you, oh my goodness, whiny or anything like that. But you have to schedule your types and points of contact. So those are important. You have to be intentional and think really creatively, because you can't just, just say hi. It has to be a meaningful point of contact. So schedule types and points of contact. Many of us who are in ministry, the newsletter. If you're sending out a newsletter on a monthly basis, that is a very important point of contact. It's a very simple way for your people, your tribe, to be able to follow and know what's going on. And it could be a lead, and it could be a prospect or the customer. Everybody can get the newsletter. And points of contact. And then, so schedule your types and points of contact. So you should have a calendar, whether it's certain posts that you're going to put on social media. You should have social media. You should have an email planned. There should be preferably something in the mail. That would be good too. And finally, something interesting that you might want to consider to put in the mail is what's called lumpy mail. So I'm just going to write that down, lumpy mail. And lumpy mail is, there we go. And sometimes you get lumpy mail and you'll say, wow, you get a package and there's like something inside there. There's a bubble kind of envelope, and then you open it and you're like, oh, look at this. It's a pen and it's got my business name on it. Well, that's very specific, because showing you this business, your business's name on a pen, it gets you thinking, wow, I really like this. I like the feel of this. Or, I haven't thought about getting pens before, but this is actually a good thing. And then you can then get those pens and then send them out to your customers. See what I mean? Because that's lumpy. It's something like, oh, wow, I got something in the mail. How fun. So lead nurturing system goes in the center right there. I love that story about Joe. That was one of my favorite stories in the book. Now, here we come to the part where we are starting to turn that lead into a customer. So in this final, well, I'll just show you over here on this one. So right next to that lead nurturing system, you're going to do the sales conversion strategy. Sales conversion strategy. The profit comes in how you market yourself. I'm just going to write that down. Profit comes in how you market yourself. Okay. Profit comes in how you market yourself. Okay. I'm going to flip over a few pages here. So I don't know if you follow, there was a social experiment that was done not too long ago, and it was about this violin player. This, let's see, this is world-class violinist. His name's Joshua Bell, and he is an extraordinary violinist. And he would play to packed audiences around the world, and he plays on this Stradivarius violin that was built in 1713. Yeah, like super expensive, and it's actually valued at $3.5 million. This violin, yeah, it's almost 300 years old, and it's said to be the most beautiful sounding violin ever crafted. So here you have this amazing violinist, and here you have this amazing violin. And if you are going to go listen to him at the Boston Concert Hall, you're going to pay $100 a ticket to go and listen to him play. Okay, this is not, a $1.95 event. You're going to pay at least $100. So if he's playing in the Boston Concert Hall and people are paying $100 or more per ticket, he makes $60,000 an hour. $60,000. Okay, think about that. Best violinist, best violin, an hour or so in the Boston Concert Hall, making $60,000. The social experiment was that they took Joshua Bell and they put him in the subway with that same violin, that same talent. He played the same thing he played at the Boston Concert Hall, beautiful pieces. And in 1 hour, how much do you think he made? He made $32. $32. The same guy, the same talent, wrong place with the wrong audience. So profit comes in how you market yourself. If you have amazing talent and you're standing in the subway, well, you're not going to reap the benefits of all your talent and all your hard work. That's a huge lesson to learn. Profit comes in how you market yourself. Okay. We're talking about one thing that was really interesting here was that some business owners get hooked on a drug. And this is a drug you might not have heard of before. It's called hopium. Now, hopium is a drug that travels through your body and your mind when you think you have an interested prospect who is sending you positive signals but has no intention of buying from you. And so, it's dangerous because you're thinking this is a done deal, but really what happens is you start chasing after people who are really not interested. So I'm just going to write avoid hopium. Oh, I thought that was really good. Avoid hopium. avoid hopium. So the other thing that is really important at this point is you have gone through this effort to have this really clear messaging. You've gotten to your niche. You've developed your lead capture system. You've been nurturing this lead, and they're getting to the point where they're thinking about buying. The worst thing that you could do is sell them. Don't sell. This is the day and age where you just can't do a hard sell. It's really not like the cool thing anymore. Now we educate, okay? So we're going to avoid that hard sell. It's kind of a thing of the past, and we're going to educate. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm just getting hair. I'm getting hair everywhere. I'm probably one of the few people who could just enjoy laughing at myself. Okay, I could talk though. Thank you. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to break so. Okay, I'm just going to take a little sip of my tea. I just need to have a little tea. I need to have a mercy. Okay, so what we're going to do is educate. People want to be educated. They want to learn something that they don't know, something that you are versed in, whether it's regarding the product, something they didn't think that this product could offer them, or the service that you're offering is going to help them do something that they didn't even consider. So educate them to that next level, if that makes sense. And then another good thing to suggest is try before you buy. Try before you buy. That may not apply to every scenario, but maybe there's a way that you can implement that into what you're doing. Try before you buy. Okay. So that completes the middle row. This is the leads section. So far you should have something along these lines filled out on your paper. This is all the front end. And you want to do your best at every point of this to have a metric to measure everything that you're doing. Okay, what I want to point out before we go on, so I'm going to grab a highlighter here. And here you can see where it says, I wrote the word no. The knowledge of each other is very small, and it grows throughout this process. So no, I'm going to put that. Oh, this is, and that's going to grow through this process. On this next, you're building likability and trust. Trust is the most important part, but likability comes in with it too, as we learned from Joe, the car salesman. So I'm just going to highlight that. First, you have to grow in knowledge. Then you're able to grow in trust. And now we're down to the bottom row. This is after people have given us money. Yay. What do we do now? Now we're on the back end. I'm going to write that in over here. Back end. But our job is not done, because now we have customers. Now we have customers. Okay, see, we're on the back end and we've got our customers. That's what's going on here. How I deliver. And this is the first one. How I deliver a world-class experience. How I deliver a world-class experience. Now, I have to ask you if you have ever been associated with a company or bought something from a company or a service, and you just thought, I just feel like I got the best service of my life, or this was way far and away something I had ever dreamed was possible. That is the feeling that we want to give to our customers. We want them to feel like they're the most precious people in the planet because we're giving them attention because we like them and they hopefully are liking us. So what you're going to do here is you're going to build a tribe of raving fans. You know, it's amazing because if you have a tribe of raving fans, what happens is when we get to this in a little bit, but what they do is they go out and evangelize their friends, and they're the ones who go out and they start selling for you, which is great. We'll get to that referral part. They're just so feeling like you're so in touch with them. As an example, I mean, Apple, when Apple comes out with a new phone, there's actually people who stand in line and they wait for the new phone. They're like, they're releasing the iPhone 10 at, midnight on, such and such a day. And they're like, I'm going to be there. I am going to be there to get that new phone. I'm thinking, wow, now that's a raving fan. That's the kind of fan base that we want to have. Ho ho. So what we have to do is sell what they want, but give what they need. So your fans are going to tell you what they want. So sell them that, right? So sell them what they want, but give them what they need. What they need. This is important because if you are meeting the needs of your customers, they will continue to come back. So what you also want to do is create a theater around your products and services. And what a concept, right? Because basically you are creating this excitement. What does Apple do? They have a keynote and everybody, it's just like this event, the lights go dim, it's the black stage, and somebody comes out and they're just like in hushed tones talking about the beauty of this next technological release, and everybody is tuned in, and it's the theater. It's in the Apple theater. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're building this. It's almost like the premiere of this next technological release. So build that. You have to create that theater, that feeling of excitement. So create the theater. Create theater. I'm just going to put that for short because I don't want to run out of time here. Create theater. Oh, yeah. So then you want to use technology to reduce the friction. You want to make everything available. If your customers want to pay with cash, don't say, no, I don't take cash, I only take card. I mean, who would do that, right? But some people do. Or some people say, I only take cash and I don't take cards. Well, you're missing out on some sales. That's all I got to say. So use technology. Reduce friction with technology. Friction with technology, with tech. Okay? This is how you're delivering a world-class experience. You are giving something that is so valuable that they can't resist you. They keep running back to you because you're offering so much. Here's the point where I'm going to tell you something really. This is very, very valuable. Excuse me. That was not it. Okay, so products. Okay, products that we sell give us money. Okay, so products, that was really an earth-shattering revelation, right? Products give us dollars. However, systems bring a fortune. Okay? Products will bring you money, but it's the systems that you implement, really good systems. And part of this world-class experience is part of that. And that is what brings the fortune. Another thing to do with your customers is just to tell them the backstory. Tell them all the trouble that you go to bring them the best. They want to hear that. That's part of the theater. They're hearing the backstory. They're hearing the story behind the story. Everybody loves that. And they want to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are the voice of value. That everything that you're bringing to them has fantastic value. Okay, so that was this little corner down here on the paper. Next, we have 2 more squares and we're done. We've talked about how we can do some marketing. Remember, marketing isn't selling an ad. Marketing is your entire focus on your customers and your relationship with them. What they bring to you and what you bring to them. Okay? How I increase customer value in customer lifetime value. Meaning things that you can do to increase what you're already bringing in. So these are kind of some of the typical things that you hear. Upselling, frequency, reactivation. So we're just going to write down a couple of these things. Raising prices is one of them. At some point in time, you'll have to raise your prices, and that's okay. People raise prices. It's not a bad thing. Raise prices, upselling. This is a really quick little one here. Ascension, having them go up to the next level. Frequency. Somebody hasn't been around for a bit, you reactivate them. Reactivation. Reactivation. So there you go, reactivation. So there's some things that you can do to increase your lifetime value of the customer. So that means how while bringing value to your customer, they're continuing to bring value to you. This is a long-term relationship you're building. This is not a one-off. You always want to build that relationship for the long haul. Okay? Finally. So there was that center part. How I increase customer lifetime value. Finally. How I orchestrate and stimulate referrals. So we're talking about those raving fans because they're so excited about you and they're going to tell everybody. I mean, if you make the next greatest purse or if you make the world's perfect mousetrap, the one that never fails, you can trap 5 mice in one time or something, I don't know. You're just going to get people super excited. And so then you end up getting your best advertising that you will ever get, ever, anytime, anywhere, any century, any planet. And that is word of mouth. Word of mouth advertising for you on behalf of your evangelists is a free lunch. Free lunch, baby. I don't know about you, but that works for me. I have had people, and I don't even advertise that I do websites, but the people who I have worked for and I have worked on their websites, they go and tell people about what I do. They're so happy. They're like, wow, she gets back to us. Oh, wow, she was really easy to work with. She just got it done. So that's awesome. It's awesome to have that word of mouth advertising. I love that. And you have to consider who's had your clients before you. It's interesting. I never really thought about that, but they're coming from an experience. You have to think about potential experiences that your clients, your customers have had before you. Maybe they didn't have such a great experience before you, or maybe, there's anything that could make it fall through. Okay. So think about that while you're dealing with your previous, the previous providers of your clients, previous providers of clients. Okay. These previous providers of clients. So here you go. Now, I just want to say this book has quite a few things. There's quite a few more things, of course. Metrics and things that you can use to measure how you're doing, which is great. But I just wanted to mention about the law of 250. And that has to do with this word of mouth thing. If you go to a funeral, you're going to notice on average there's 250 people there. If you go to a wedding, ask a wedding caterer how many meals on average do they prepare at a wedding? 250. Okay. So if you are doing a really good job, you are going to get a referral of 250 from a very happy customer. If you have a very unhappy customer, you're going to get 250 really bad referrals. So that's the law of 250, because people have, and you know, honestly, the people have a slightly broader reach now with social media. So that spreads a little bit quicker. And depending on the emotion level of that review, you could have, that could be greatly increased. Like you could see a exponential increase one way or the other. So just be prepared for that. Yeah, who's had your clients before you? Those are good things to know. So and the final thing is just talking about your brand. A lot of people think that marketing is branding, and really it's not all that. See, the marketing that we're in the small business market, we're not marketing to do branding. That branding comes at the very end, not at the beginning, like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. All of their advertising marketing money goes towards the branding and what they want people to associate with their product. That's not what we're doing in the small business market. We build that brand on the back end, not the front end. So this is where you're building your brand, and where you're actually going to, and with the help of people who refer you, develop your space in your niche. So here you are, you're building your brand. Okay, so that fills out that final square. And remember how we talked about how the first row was no? We're building that knowledge base between us and our target market. And then the second row is you're building that likability, that trust. And then at the very end, you are building reliability. I just put rely, but you can write out reliability. So I'm just going to highlight that. And that reliability continues to grow. That you should never see a decrease in the reliability as far as what your customers see you. They know that you're reliable, that you're always going to be there to answer their questions. You're going to be available when something goes wrong, that you care, that you really are trying to help them get the best they can throughout the process of whatever they're buying from you, a product or a service. So that sums it up. That's how you can take some cold prospects and turn them into red hot raving fans. And it doesn't happen overnight. So you don't have to think that, man, if I don't have this system in place in a month, I'm just a big business loser. No, just focus and just take it one step at a time. And I would love to hear what you have. Just share in the comments if you have some tips or if you want to share a success after you have implemented some of these. It would be great to hear about your progress. So thank you so much for joining me tonight for Business 240 Marketing Principles, and have a good evening.